what some of the business people will tell you about their own colleagues. So you have to have a clean sweep this time of the politicians, the businessmen and others who have been involved in corruption.
I mean, the chambers, certain chambers have said, you've been making, unintelligent statements and so on. The Colombo business elite, some of them.
I don't call them elites. They want to get some favors from the government. Some of the guys want a free trip to Beijing to do business. Someone wants to go to New York. They are not these things. But I am not here to represent elite. We represent the people of this country. And we believe that both power and wealth are public trusts.
But the UNP is a capitalist party.
It's a party that is committed to a market economy. We are capitalist in the sense that we want everyone to own some property, a bit of land, to a bank account, to have some shares, to be able to farm, to be able to have a flat. I mean, we are very, very populist in our economy. We want millions of small capitalists. There will be the large firms also. But we want everyone to have we want to build an assets owning society. And that is what we are committed to, and that's our resolution of 1962. If you look today, all the land that have been distributed on time of DSN Naik, all the houses that Mr. Premadas and others have built, the ETF which we have started, all the small businesses that we have encouraged people, allow people to get vehicles. I mean, all of you, everyone in this room and everyone who is watching this should have a stake in this country, in the assets. But if you think it should be limited to a few people in this country who can rip off the country, no. Then I don't consider us to be with them. If you want to, that is why I say that we are a party of the people. We believe in a stable economy, strong growth, and we think the private enterprise, both large and small, are the engines of growth which have to really create more incomes, a higher level of income, and finally a more equitable society. That's what we are committed for.
To get there, Mr. Wickremesinghe, we need large-scale investments coming into this country.
I have no problem, but large-scale investment is what we want. Now, today we are a nation that's building condominiums, and we are selling them off at 30-40 million rupees, when young people are just married, working in those companies can't barely afford to get housing. You look, at some stage you are going to have explosion in this country. If an ordinary person can't buy a house, if an ordinary person can't buy a flat, if you can't put your child into a school, give him a good education, either they are going to leave or they are going to go on the street against the system. That's all that I can say.
In fact, I mean, if you look at the technical issues, housing loan interest is what, 17, 18, sometimes 20%.
You have to look at a new law on housing mortgages, get concessional interest. That's time we are not looking at it. I am not against condominiums coming up, provided that we are also giving housing to the average people. I think there is about 500,000 to 1 million people in this country, which you call middle income or low income, who requires housing. But we haven't got the institutional system to provide them with money. So in that setup, when you are only building condominiums, they will be the first people to turn against you.
My last question, so what is your plan to make this change happen, to create your asset owning society?
First, what we see is the people are suffering. It is difficult for an ordinary person to live. It's difficult for the average businessman to carry on his business. Everyone is getting affected. So we are starting this new movement, Dukanivan Aragale, which is basically mobilizing the people and resorting to direct action against the government until such time as we can exercise our sovereignty to elect a new government, elect a new parliament and a government. Once that is done, the rest we can put into place. So what we want is for everyone to help us in this movement, because it's not for the UNP, it's not for the Jatika Sabha, but it's for the people itself. I don't think any government in the world can afford to stand up against its own people. As long as we are silent, they can get away with blue murder. But once we mobilize and we shout within a very short time, the government has no option but to go for election. And then let the people elect whatever government of their choice, maybe UNP, maybe some other party. That's the idea.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wickremesinghe, for taking the time. I wish you all the best.